Good morning, everyone. It's Thursday, the 21st of July, 2022, and yesterday was a big day in Gematria, being 201, and just a lot of stuff regarding Gematria and that date. Anyway, so yesterday, interesting day, I went to a water park, which is why I didn't post a video, and then after I got back, I was talking to a friend about Occam's razor and double helixes and caduceus and like you name it. And so today's gonna be like a long video, unfortunately for a lot of people, and so I'm gonna be going on multiple tangents probably because conversations that we had and also social media comments that I responded to in the last 24 hours just sparked a lot of people to be really upset. And it's like I don't mean to offend anyone with like the research that I've done or the stuff that I've read. I'm just trying to share information that may or may not help kind of avoid all of this like divisive media stuff that we're putting out there right now that is like not even really I mean, there is truth to it, absolutely, but it's not as truthful as we're being led to believe, and it's what keeps us stuck. And the people that we're trying to blame for things is also keeping us stuck and actually not also the reality. And so anyways, already going on a tangent with that. So I was going to talk about Canada a little bit and how our RCMP, which is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, with horses and all, like, I mean, it was created, with Russian spies in like, I guess Soviet spies, like deeply embedded within. And so like even when doing like covert operations with CIA and FBI and things like that with American people, our CMP, like these were actually Russian, like oftentimes two spies that were integrated into Canada, and with Russians or Soviets and KGB and other groups, like they were very compartmentalized. And Yuri Bezmenov from the he posted like a few interviews in the 80s specifically that I watched. 84, but like he went from Russia to India and then back, and he has like really interesting stories about that and about how he fled to the U.S. and Canada and became a broadcaster and journalist and completely changed his name and things like that. But even in the 80s, just because of his voice, finally after 5 years they were able to track him down because of that. And so they were very advanced then, so imagine how advanced they are now, right? And Yuri Bezmenov was talking too about like how even with gatherings and galas that they would provide temptations to the people that were part of these things, and that was a way of making them like not be able to function properly or have like the cognitive abilities like properly like focused, I guess, because like even with like drugs and alcohol and like people that are attractive, these are all like very distracting when you're going to different countries and events, and you're being provided like a fake reality of or version of that country. And it happens all the time, and that's how we pat ourselves on the back and say like, oh, good job, even though you're going to the areas that are like it's all role played media even involved at it, like to glamorize the areas and make it look like certain areas are even like more impacted than others, and then vice versa too, where countries are like more well off, I guess, than led to believe. And this is not the case, right? And so it's only until we actually finally admit these realities that we're going to impact any change in places like China and North Korea and so many other countries, right? And Canada to varying degrees as well, more and more. So why I wanted to talk about Canada too is because we have Barton. Like, sorry, I'm looking at my notes, but yeah, he's just making sure I have like the proper notes here. Sorry, where'd it go? Oh yeah, so he's Nigerian-born, London resident, and he was a Canadian ambassador to China. So this is currently right now. So his name is Dominic Barton. I just posted something like some information on him online on my Instagram today, and he's part of Century Initiative, and that's CENTURY, like as in centuries, as in 100. And then and so by 2050, their initiatives are very interesting for even trying to triple the population of Canada by then. And but like his initiative again, and what he's involved in and embedded in, like he is Canada's Bill Gates criminal, or whatever you want to call it, or not Bill Gates, but like I don't know, but he is very corrupt, and he's very like he's not aligned with Canadian values. And so like I don't know why we don't like look at these things and see like just how tied he is, how intertwined he is to other countries that may or may not be involved in like some kind of a quiet revolution or silent colonialism or overtake. I don't know. But my point to that is yeah, so even regarding China, like because like even in Canada for the last few years there's been lithium mines, like even upwards of $750 million even last summer in Vancouver, for example, where we're selling our mines to them, and they have diamond mines, lithium mines, copper, nickel, gold, you name it, in Canada, in our northern regions or western regions as well, and eastern actually. So it's like more, but more than northern areas, and so this is how people can possibly take over land or secrets too, right? So if there's any civilizations or ancient ruins or artifacts or structures or tombs or catacombs or you name it, or like proof of like ancient civilizations or proof of ancient more advanced civilizations, I mean, or more tropical states within Canada in living conditions with different geothermic environments and stuff like that, like we like why are we like allowing people to like freely take over like large vast areas when we can be in those areas too, and deeply involved and assisting with archaeological stuff and bringing engineers in and just like assisting within our own country with these things in mind. And on that note, I'm going on other, more tangents, but like just regarding elements, because I'm talking about lithium and diamonds and all that other stuff. But like radioactivity, like nuclear radioactivity, like nuclear and radioactive materials or elements could possibly be fake. This is another conspiracy theory that's out there again now, and I always try to stay on top of them. But this one's actually older than I actually thought, and so were they're not actually these elements or devices or capabilities, but they're using other things like napalm or other explosive devices in order to damage or destroy and do testing and stuff like that. But I got a little, like, that was a little unusual to me. So I'm like, this, wow, like that, there might be something to this. And so, and even gematria like makes sense with like a lot of the dates and timings and stuff like that too. But like, I'm not going to dismiss the fact that there's obviously like this causes injuries. But again, I'm just saying that it might not be radioactive or nuclear in nature, but other elements that are currently in existence. And so when I was looking at the periodic table and just the all the elements that are like that have just came out in like the last 100 years or whatever, it's very interesting that they've either not been tested yet or tested in theory or only in research like testing facilities. And so that's very interesting to me, where like it's not even something that we can like see for ourselves or test for ourselves or have access to. And so like when you limit information and you limit like our ability to question or review or have like peer review, I mean, and look at data and look at things, then I question these things, because it's like, why? Why? It's just like the new thing out. And so yeah, like even the double helix caduceus, like snake things within like our medical and other governmental and healthcare facilities and organizations, like it's tied to like advanced civilizations and ancient humans that were more advanced possibly, and that were more connected to these beings, or it was a way of showing like our DNA structure being a lot more like designed by higher level beings than us, in this like flat earth, like with like a dome above and possibly below, like a multidimensional simulated holographic reality that we're experiencing right now, that's in a contained environment, so that we can explore different ways of doing things here, and not cross-contaminate the environment into the higher level, or higher dimensional realities. But who knows? I'm looking at notes. I made more notes today. So like, yeah, I've already talked about Russia discussing that they may or may not want Alaska back. And Alaska, of course, kind of borders, well, I mean, not of course, kind of, it does. It borders Canada. It's on it. It's part of our continent. It's part of our country. And the northern part, and like then you've got Russia that's close by, and then China to the southwest. And anyway, And so this gives access to the North Pole and the northern regions too. So if the North is indeed the center of the world, and in a way out either underground or above, then more and more people are going to be wanting to explore that. And so it's just very interesting that there's a lot of ancient runes and ancient like star bases, even, or whatever you want to call it, and ancient like even like large mountains could possibly be hiding like more ancient things. Like I don't even know if it's like possible giants, possible like larger structures of varying degrees being covered up, and throughout the world as well. But like there's like our more mountainous, larger mountainous areas are in the West Coast and more in the Yukon and British Columbia, with Mount Logan, I believe, being our largest one in Canada, and I think Mount Robson's one in the U.S. But don't quote me on these things because I'm not great with names. But they're just very large mountains, and we have them in different areas. It's very interesting because this just proves to me more and more that like even like before we believed there were humans that came upon these like more ancient buildings and structures, whether they be like tunneling systems or dams or whatever, that really predate, and that they didn't have the ability to recreate, like nowhere near to the same scales for many years. Even now we're advanced again, we're getting there. We're still not as advanced as these societies and civilizations were like several hundred to several thousand years ago and beyond. And we keep on trying to cover that up, because when we have people that repopulate other areas with their kind, like their culture, their religious, like all that stuff, and their genetic aspects as well, then there needs to be some kind of I don't know, excuse or reason why, or maybe it's just like forgotten knowledge, lost knowledge. That could be that too, because a lot of libraries and places that held knowledge, even buildings with their pillars, had a lot of information. That's how they shared their information, more with symbols and ancient texts than with words. Well, actually, that's not true. Depending on your religion, there was even like where there was only the passage of information orally as well. So depends on where you go in the world, I guess. Also keeps us stuck as well. But so like more within Canada too, because if we're more ancient than we're like being led to believe, and there was more advanced or ancient civilizations that were here that predate current cultures and civilizations and societies here, then which there is, like even like there's graves, there's monuments, there's runes, there's buildings that are being tested and observed and researched, and then covered up and then shut down like largely as well, and then quarantined and like closed off, or protected by government. But it just shows that there have been like different races of humans, like of varying skin colors and hair colors and eye colors throughout time, and oftentimes lived amongst each other without issue, like all over the world too. So it's not even just in Canada, it's all over the world. And so like I didn't want to offend people when I had like someone posted a meme yesterday or the day before, and it was like a woman that had like brown eyes and brown hair, but she was lighter skinned, and she had said that like she did a side by side with Pocahontas, and she said like do I look like Pocahontas? And then someone commented, no, but you certainly look like the people that stole her land. And I'm just like and then I'm like we're back to this. Not back to this, I mean we still have to address this, but like we've always had land issues, and we've always had issues with people coming in and out of different areas of the world because of natural or man-made disasters and struggles and trauma, and where their areas were wiped out or not able to be lived in, or because of again like war and things like that, and so they fled, or by design they went to different areas to control different areas, and first before other people came, and then lied about like the lineage and genealogy and history and religion and cultures and all that stuff, because all religions have like a lot of truth, like hidden truth, but they also do mislead us as well. And even Manly P. Hall, who's from Canada, who's from Ontario, he Morals and Dogma. It's a great book. No, sorry, that's Albert Pike. But like he has a lot of books out there on. But he gives a lot of information on the world and this veil above us, this blue veil above us, like at times during history too, that is lifted, and we see beyond it, and then we've got like the black sun that could possibly be Horus or Thoth or Thor, like the sons of either Freya or Odin in that religion, where you've got Thor, or with Isis and Osiris with Horus, and the moon being electric, self-illuminating object, and then the sun being a magnetic, self-illuminating object, and then together merging with this black sun, or we used to possibly have a black sun. There's a lot of ancient texts on that as well, and there's even songs and movies on it. So it's in plain sight too, where we're told about these things. And so, like on Earth, there needs to be balance, and like even like our water, like with the salt in the water, with the ebb and flow and the tidal waves, like this is all controlled by the moon. And it's because of these saline solutions within the water, and like fresh water doesn't have waves, or like salt water, like unless it's like, well, there's things like in it that displace it, where like there's like ripples and stuff like that, obviously. But when it comes to like the ebb and flow and tidal waves, it's largely controlled by like electricity managed by the moon, in my belief. I don't know if that's true or not. And the sun being like this more like magnetic controlling thing, that largely impacts us too. Like I talk about these toroidal fields, but it's like a electrical magnetic in design. And like we are inherently better able to perform during certain like even our pH balance. I think it's between like 7.3 or 7.4, between like that, like with the alkaline acid, in order for us to like be optimal. And if you go too much alkaline, you can die. If you go too much acid, you can die. And and then like even with temperature, like we function more optimally with the external temperature, 23 degrees. Again, gematria, sacred gematria, numbers and numerology, like these are all like also deeply embedded in cultures and religions as well, and passed on to us. And then our own internal temperature is 37 degrees or 98.6 or whatever it is. And so these are all interesting points as well. And our magnetic charge apparently is like is weakening, and so this could also possibly be like making us more sick or whatever. And maybe the moon, I don't know. And so maybe maybe we need to do something with this black sun. That's possibly what is causing these eclipses. I know I sound weird, but and I go on all these tangents, and these are all literally my notes. And so I said I don't know how long this video is going to take, but I did want to go through all these points and discuss. And so if anyone does anything regarding and so I've been watching The 100, and it's on Netflix, and I do love watching like movies and shows, not only because they're entertaining, but also because there's hidden meaning to a lot of them too. If you again read Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike, they talk about like the hidden meanings behind like even colors, like and checkerboards, and with the black and white and the black and red and the 64 and the anyway and so many different things. But I'm already going on all these tangents. But Morals and Dogma, hidden where was I going with that? The 100. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of hidden truths in there, and then there's a lot of blatant lies too, right? So they talk about blood being like important, and there's like various different blood groups of people that are impacted by different like environments differently, right? And like some people have like different types of blood groups because they were underground for various generations, like 100 years or whatever, because life on Earth was not able to be it wasn't hospitable anymore because of these huge like nuclear bombs that went off and just completely destroyed the world. And I'm sorry if I ruined the whole thing for people. But and so anyways, the people that were underground, they were deficient in like micronutrients or things that they could only get with in my opinion, because by virtue of the sun and the healing properties of the sun. And so they were supplementing with blood, and so that was very interesting. And they were paler skinned, and they looked more sick, and then when they were given the blood from these sky people that were in space for 100 years, they were more they were less they were able to heal them, and they were also able to live on Earth even if it was at higher levels of radiation exposure. Very interesting. And there was also black bloods that were not impacted by radiation exposure, or to a much less degree. And so again, these are all really interesting things. And then there's a really significant emphasis on negative blood groups too, even though right now they're rare. It seems to be they're more common in this new world, or whatever you want to call it, all these new races of beings. And there's even giants that are in the caves underground too, with red hair, and that are cannibals, and but they're only cannibals because they were inoculated with therapeutics that caused them to be crazy and evil and gross and like very animalistic and wild in nature, and just evil. And then once they were detoxed off it, if they were able to, it was very, very hard or almost impossible, even for like the strongest of the people. Then you were able to like recover, but you remember everything that you did. And so there's so many different hidden things in there, but like the one I wanted to talk about was EMPs, and how there's another race of humans that came from like another area, and they were waiting too, and they had like an element on their vessel that caused like a lot of like illness to like at least 75% of their people that are now like dying, and they're landed on Earth too to like look for some kind of a treatment. And there's this doctor there that they want to like help them with like healing. And so this doctor is an addict with these pills that starts with like ether or whatever, and there's like hidden symbology in that as well. And then uses an engineer called Raven, hidden symbology in that as well, who walks with a limp. And she is able to use this like a weapon that these advanced beings had. It's an EMP, electrical magnetic pulsing weapon. It was a firearm type thing. And everyone was afraid of it because it was like the most superior weapon, or it is the most superior weapon right now in the show. And so the doctor was like, okay, so how can we use this to heal? And I don't know how it came up with that, but it was over her observing something. And then this engineer was able to like put it in this medical device that was able to go over people's bodies, like an MRI or whatever machine, and heal them like very, very quickly with like these like even when their lungs were like full of abrasions and like not healing, and they were dying because of like this exposure to this element. Theo something or whatever, and as soon as like the pulsing with this EMP like now transitioned from this weapon into this like healing device, like there's so many healing properties, and I've discussed this before in other videos. Like I do think that there's something to that, and how we need to like look into that more and more, and how even like magnets, like neodymium magnets, can like impact electrical devices. Like even my laptop, like I had one of my magnets like hit the bottom of it and hit it just in the right area on the battery where it stopped working, and it was only after I took the magnet off that I was able to my laptop was able to start again. And so all interesting things, and I go on all these freaking different tangents, and I don't even know where I was going with things. And so, oh yes, like, so do nuclear weapons and nuclear stuff exist? I don't know. And so like, what else are we being lied to about? So like, even like, again, this is going to be controversial, but there's also apparently people that have been disabled in ancient times or even present times that are using disabilities as they're lying about these disabilities in varying capacities, and it's to deceive or manipulate people, because when we empathize with that. Human beings, the majority of us, we have compassion and empathy for people that struggle in life or have disabilities or struggles, or what we perceive to be. And so people are trying to claim that even Stephen Hawking's possibly, like, it wasn't him talking or typing things out, that it was someone else, and that he was just used as these representation of some sort of like the communicator of what people actually want us to believe, right? So he was just the figurehead. And possibly too, Jesus might have been the figurehead for certain other religious people, and Moses as well. And these are very controversial topics, but it's just interesting too that like even Bill Gates, he doesn't need glasses, or maybe he does now because he's older, but he used that as a way to make us think that he was like more intelligent. And I don't know why people think that people with glasses are more intelligent when you think that they would do the things that you should do in order to prevent eye issues, like so many different things. Even actually looking at the sun actually helps with your eyes, and your diet and filtering your water and things like that all help with your eyesight. There's ways you can do it, like even training your eyes to function better actually does work. So yeah, we have a lot of actors and possible actors in different areas of government that we believe to be these idols, right? So we even have like Stephen Hawking's and Buzz Aldrin and Charles Darwin even, and Carl Jung and all these people. So yeah, Charles Darwin. I don't believe in the theory of evolution as he claims, and neither do a lot of scientists that are way smarter than me and people that are way smarter than me come to the same conclusions. And so, but believing more into this whole like genetic editing stuff that's been going on in biolabs for thousands of years, and then just being hidden from us. And so there are places in Antarctica and all over the world where there are biolabs and genetic engineering has been done. So like we have 8 different blood types, and then we have like the negative and positive, and that is something that I think has been genetically edited by design. Like, and so like even with like our DNA structures and chromosomes and things like that, I do believe that like there's been different animals or species that have been like manipulated into our DNA somehow, and given us like like some like benefits, like the advantageous DNA components or strains or whatever you want to call it, of these other species, and that's why we are able to adapt and function and survive in so many different environments, even on Earth. And so there's something to it, and I would highly recommend and encourage people to look more into it off of uncensored browsers and off of Google, and maybe don't look at Wikipedia so much, because like they are owned by people that are intentionally or unintentionally deceiving us with information, lying. I'm talking fast, but it's because I speak 2 languages, and well, I'm functionally bilingual in French and English, but I also speak a little bit of other languages. And so yeah, and so like even Carl Jung, like he very smart man, but was feeding us this false globe Earth narrative, and like it's easily dismissed and debunked just based off of like the research models and methods that he was trying to show us to deceive us, and like telling us something but showing us something else too, which is so frustrating when people do that. And because yeah, I do believe in this flat Earth model, and I can get more into it, how we see way beyond more like that than the realm of the possibility. If there's this curvature of the Earth like we're being told, I do believe the Earth doesn't spin, and Coriolis effect has been debunked, and by virtue of the fact that like we're not factoring it in when we go on in hot air balloons. I just hope that people put more emphasis on their own eyes, and like looking up even at the moon and the sun and seeing that it is a reflection. It's being reflected from an object from somewhere else. I don't know where, but that's what it looks like. And like the figure 8 infinity is largely also part of our sacred design, geometric design. Oh my goodness, I'm going on all these weird tangents. So aliens and space, like that's more in the news again in the last couple of days. And so I've talked about this for like the last few years. I don't think that there's from beyond this dome or firmament. I think that there's possibly other races of humans that are like, when they say extraterrestrial, it could possibly be where we're being shown like this inner terrestrial landmass, or these land masses. And then there's ones beyond this that we're not being showed off of Google Earth. Excuse me. And that's why we're calling them extraterrestrial. But most, if not, like, well, the majority of these encounters and interactions have been from these aliens that come from like the underwater. Sorry. And so that's very interesting that we should be looking more at the water as well, because this is usually where they come in from. And so, so alien is possibly from there, or from like these extraterrestrial areas, and because of how they have evolved by living in those environments, underwater or in caves or cenotes or whatever you want to call it. Different like even like oxygen levels, I think can like impact us differently and impact our evolution. So not so much like that we came from like algae and monkeys. I don't think anyone did. I think we all have been like all different races and stuff like that. We've all been advanced and been wiped out, and like we're together and then not during various different times of the world, just based on misinformation, literally that, and natural and man-made disasters. And so, so is like is North America a turtle island? There's a lot of there's a lot to that. There's star forts, and again like these large mountains, like I say, and ancient ruins and different like river and water designs that would lead me to believe that there's more again to this, and more, like, and that we're older. All of us are older than we're being led to believe, and and possibly came from areas where we have not been led to believe at all. And so even in places in Northern Africa where there is ancient scripts and texts and drawings, like again, not by these people, but of showing people that have had like lighter skin and lighter eyes and lighter hair, and throughout so many different areas. And so I just think that we should just need to stop like arguing with each other, because there have been like a lot of atrocities that we still need to address. Like for example, the I don't even know how to say this without getting this video removed, but I hope it doesn't. But like even with the Nazi camps, the majority of the extermination ones were in like Poland, Austria, Hungary, Ukraine, like and like there were so many different areas. It wasn't just Germany, and to a smaller scale, unfortunately, is where it happened. Was in Germany. Was the more extreme left areas, and these were all being run by extreme left political organizations during these periods, like the early 1900s to the like war period, and even just beyond, until they stopped it, and then things change, and then it gets too far right, and then there's balance, and then so we just need to stop. We don't need to go to the too far right, or we don't need to go ecclesiastic. We just need to learn from the past and just take like the good things from all of them, like after like proper assessments, and then carry on, because even the Soviet Union, for example, it was disbanded in 91, but like even Ukraine was part of Russia during that time, and people are not understanding that the Azov battalions that are in the Ukraine right now, and other organizations, other groups of people are assisting groups that you wouldn't believe, and they're committing a lot of awful things to Ukrainians and other groups that are in Ukraine as well. Like, so there's a lot more, and there's a lot more ancient history too. So it's not even just that they were together at one point for many years. But again, I was born in 82, so like this only changed in 91, and so how dare we like assume that you like that everyone in this country is going to be like on the side that you think they're on, and so because I'm on Signal and Telegram and all these other means, like I've seen the crime and corruption too with these organizations, and it's not who you think it is, and it's and the media has been lying about it, and so many other people, and it's people, in my humble opinion, who are morally corrupt and lost, and they don't value morals and ethics and the human spirit, right? It's all about just like the body, because like that's all they focus on. They're all about like sex and like and it doesn't matter who it's with, you know what I mean? Or no, I won't even go there, but family values are important, because like how you manage a family is how you manage others, right? Beyond your family even. And so that's the point of that. And so yeah, with Tartaria, like this is all hidden in North America, hidden history of ancient civilizations that were way more advanced, like they were way more evolved than us too, right? And so like even when people talk about Napoleon being a midget, some people say that he was one of the taller people in that era, and some people are saying that that's not the case. But there's been giants and like more advanced and taller beings, just based off of like a lot of skeletons that are now lost or hidden, or they were been reburied but hidden in like underground, or like the Vatican, or so many different institutions in the world that we don't have access to it anymore, like in not on display, or because it was just very questionable, just like not able to be put out on display, so just being hidden in the local museums even. And so yeah, like we keep on getting lied to about this stuff, and so how can we advance as a human race in a more collective, cooperative way if we're still like hiding things from people, thinking that we're too ignorant to be able to understand it? But it's not the case, and it's only when we get beyond this that we can like fully like undo and learn from our mistakes, like we did with how we like recolonized Canada in the 14, 15, and 1600s again, but even like more present day examples of the residential school systems, and what we did with Indigenous people, like it was just atrocious. And like, these are schools that were still open even in the 90s, and things that have been hidden from Canadians. And so like deeply troubling. This is not stuff that is taught in schools, This is the stuff that mainstream media should be focusing on, like the actual real like information, and holding people accountable at the time too, right? So our CMP, like religious leaders, government people, and indigenous leaders as well, unfortunately, complicit. And they also have been for thousands of years as well. So there are leaders of all different groups, unfortunately, that have known about a lot of this hidden occult stuff, and they're involved in it like in a very big way, right? So even with human abductions, child and adult abductions that happen just in Canada alone, it's like in our more remote northern, let's say, or western or whatever regions, and there's no coincidences to that. And even the Queen, when she visited during, like in the last several decades, like there have been, people of a young age that went missing, and this was reported during the time and then lost, right? Because like it's just we go through these cycles where we don't have the access to information as much as we used to, right? Like again, so it is what it is. But so like even with these abductions, these could be possibly like other human races that are trying to study us, because we are able to function and survive perfectly fine right now, like in this environment, and maybe they are not able to because they've been like underground too long, or underwater too long, or beyond this area too long, or because things are changing now with like the electrical magnetic charges or whatever in this cycle. Maybe we gotta like just like assess people that are just like, again, I don't know, faring better than others that are more chronically ill or sick, or not protecting themselves from so many different ways of this damage that's being done to us. And so all these tangents, but yeah, so oh yeah, I want to just get on the ArriveCan app, because I've been going on these huge tangents, and maybe I should stop and just leave it at the ArriveCan app. I've talked about that before, in digital ID, and how it's not like anyone's business, like all the information that's being provided. I don't mean to be offensive or insult anyone. I'm not like anti-government at all. I work with and for the government, so so I'm sorry for all the people that, like that think that I'm this thing that I'm not. But I do believe that we need to like get more on board with being more honest to people, and so like access to information that is on these digital IDs, that they're easily hackable, and there's a lot of information that can be used against us, right? So like not all countries are as nice, and that's by design. And so like a lot of bad things can possibly happen to people and or their dependents if this information is given to people that shouldn't have it, or not able to handle that information, right? Because like oftentimes power can corrupt people, and wealth can corrupt people, and so it's really hard to be able to not be MK Ultra when we're part of like systems like in all various capacities that are designed to mind control us. And so I know that sounds really weird, but it's kind of true. And by kind of I mean really true. And so we need to stop doing things to our humans, to everyone of like all degrees, and allow us to heal, I guess, like internally and externally, and not only ourselves but like all species. And I want to like reinforce that too. So like the big thing for me right now, there's going to be like these like huge like climate catastrophes again that they're going to be discussing in the media, and like global climate stuff, and this is what the mainstream media, what their high-end people are saying, that the script makers are saying that they need to talk about more, right? So this is like openly being admitted, and I shared this on my Instagram, but they're saying that like, yeah, we're just going to push this is going to be like the next big thing, and this is something that we can exploit for many years. And so and so just being aware of these things that is it will better assist us in making better decisions that are not based on fear, and just preparing for things to happen in various places in the world that you wouldn't expect, and not be caught off guard as a way to build confidence and assist with like this fear thing too. So being able to have access to water where it's not just coming out of a tap, because that can be controlled, and it has been controlled and is controlled in other areas. Not being so reliant on electricity, or finding other ways where you're not being reliant on your hydro institutions, and even food sources where you're not just relying on your grocery store are really good ways of just trying it out, like just trying out different things, right? And once we build more confidence again, then we're better able to see things for what they are, and better prepare us for what might be coming in the near future, with these like Phoenix events. And even with the Phoenix, like, there's so much symbology all over the place, that discusses phoenixes and rising from the ashes, and it's in so many different, like, even Hollywood films and documentaries and series on Netflix, and different cultures, and it's like tied to the eagle as well, and so yeah, like, the more we pay attention to this, then we can understand why certain things have happened that predate these resets or these significant dates, why things happen. And this is why certain people can get away with hiding out or whatever during certain periods, and then magically like reappearing after a certain amount of time, and then retaking control of areas or other areas until they can like regain control of other areas. They have to build first and reestablish and all that other stuff, and then move beyond that. So again, these are cycles, and the more we can understand that, the more we can prepare. And so on that note, I hope everyone has a wonderful day.